here live for another just QHHT level 3 chat. Welcome, 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 everybody. Sorry, got to turn
Good
myself
to be
off on here.
here.
Yeah. So today I'm with Christy Sharp. And Christy, you are in Oklahoma?
I am.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. Okay.
Mhm.
And Sophia Livshitz. And Sophia, you're in Florida?
I'm in Florida. Yes, it's
Florida.
really hot.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm at 6,512 feet elevation, so it's delicious.
Wow.
Really?
I'm so
Sorry.
jealous.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's really delicious. All right. We have an incredible, incredible, incredible topic today. And all of these topics. So I love doing this. I do this just out of love, just because I love talking to my QHHT level 3 buddies, because we have the best job in the world. We have a front row seat to the universe. And I usually get the topics for these through meditation. So they'll tell me what to talk about. And when this one came in, I was like, whoa, okay, that's heavy. That's really heavy. So then for the last week and a half, because I was like, whoo, where are we going with this one? Yikes. Um, so I've been asking if a few of my clients if it's okay for me in their QHHT session to ask about this. I tell them the whole backstory, yada yada. So exciting stuff to share with you guys today. So given that, Christy,
Mhm.
would you please introduce yourself for the gang here?
Yeah.
And how'd you get into this QHHT stuff?
So I'm Christie. I'm in Oklahoma City, and I was an accountant for about 20 years. And then I got two brain injuries from domestic violence. And so I was forced to kind of find another career because my brain was being rewired differently.
Hmm.
And from that trauma, I got fibromyalgia. I was all around bad health. I was on 14 medications. I had really severe depression that just got worse. And then in 2020, my friend Nina loaned me Dolores's book, Between Death and Life, which is awesome, you know. So I read that and I just like, this is the truth. I just knew this is the truth. It caused a massive awakening in me. And I didn't realize that Dolores had passed in 2014 when I read it. And I also didn't realize that she had trained people to do this, to do QHHT. And so a couple of years later, after reading all the books I could of hers, I saw an ad for the QHHT class on Facebook. And I really wanted to sign up for it, but I was worried that I wouldn't finish it because that was a pattern for me.
Oh,
Like
okay.
when I would sign up for something and then not follow through with it. So I told myself if I still felt the urge to sign up for it in a couple days, then I would do it. And then the next day, I just knew I wanted to do it. I was so excited, and I knew I wanted to be a level 3 practitioner. So I just hit my 3-year anniversary of my first session. Yay.
Yay.
Dolores saved my life, literally. I'm off all medications. I have no depression, and my health is fantastic.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Well, welcome. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I'm excited.
Sophia, would you introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
sure. So my name is Sophia Livshitz. I'm in Palm Harbor, Florida. That's suburbs of Tampa. That's the easiest way to explain. And interestingly, 2020 was also my year that I started, but that's 2020 is when I um, trained for level 1.
Okay.
Right? I kind of started before, and just like Christy, I am an accountant.
Wow.
No way.
That's
Well,
awesome.
here's the funny thing. I trained as an accountant. I went to school for accounting. I worked for the top four. I worked for Ernst& Young. So Christy knows
Uh,
it's one of the
uh,
top 4 accounting firms.
uh,
But I never worked as an accountant,
oh.
Wow.
which is the weirdest thing. I never worked as an accountant in an accounting firm. And so it's a corporate world, and I wasn't happy. So when I had my son, I took time off, and that's when Dolores just popped up because I didn't want to go back to the same job. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what to do, right? And many people say that on YouTube, her videos just pop up
Yeah.
randomly, right? And all my videos were, cartoon stuff because I had a
Uh,
son, right? So I had a child.
right.
So all of a
Right.
sudden, and when I was listening to her, I was like, this resonates with me. The same
Yeah.
as Christy. I was like, this resonates with me. And then when I started reading her book, I think um can't remember which one, not Between Life and Death. I can't remember which one's the first one I read, but I was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to do what she does. And then it took me a couple of more years to work through my fears to actually buy the course and do the course. And that was 2020.
Okay.
And again, my goal was the same. I wanted to, be level 3. And I always tell people, especially people who call me from somewhere far away, I'm like, you can always travel to me, yes, but please don't forget that there's level 1s and level 2s.
Mhm.
They're not, we do have more experience just because we've done more sessions, but they're not, they're not any worse.
Hey, we were level 1s and level 2s at one time, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Absolutely, right? And that's what I tell people. I was like, people believed in me when I was level 2 in order to get to level 3. So, you can come to me, fly and all that. That's perfect. But, start with closer to you. But yeah, that was my journey. And for me, as far as healing, I mean, the same, I had depression, right? After the session that was done, first time was done on me, my eyesight got better, right? There's different other things. I always had like aches and pains in my, like sciatica, right? And now we know what it's all about, right? Just wasn't going the right way. So in my session, a lot of it was cleared, but yes.
Yay. Awesome. 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 Well, welcome. I'm so happy to talk to you guys today. So, we've got people coming in online already, and we've got Jen from Guthrie, Oklahoma. I don't know if you know Jen, but say hi to Jen. Christie, she's in your neighborhood. Um, all right. So, like I was saying, man, our topic today is a big one, right? How love and light in a world on fire. Like how, is it naive or necessary? So, and I know you guys talk to these people, and we hear from the higher self, stay in love, stay in love, stay in light, spread the light, stay in light all day, every day. And I've had people, not necessarily, super spiritually plugged in people, of like, how can you do that? There are children starving in Palestine, and bombs dropping in what's the name of that country? Yemen, and yada yada yada. All of the destruction going on in the world, and it just seems like it's accelerating, frankly. But I don't know. Um, and so, how do you do that? And do you even do it? And if you're doing it, how do you, it being staying in love and light, do you share or do you keep it to yourself? Like, how do you maneuver? How do you not only advice for folks that are trying to do that, but also if you are already doing it, how do you maneuver the world in that situation? So there's a lot going on in this. Whew, in this topic. So, super excited to talk to you guys. So, I want to start with just your guys' opinion. Is staying in love and light naive or necessary? Or both, or neither, or something else? I don't know. What do you think, Sophia?
I think it's necessary because otherwise you'll go nuts,
Yeah.
right? Because there's, we can look at things that are happening outside of our country.
Mm-hmm.
That's even worse than what's happening. I'm sure there's other things. I don't know what's happening inside our country
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I just don't follow it as much because again, it can drive you nuts,
Yeah.
right? It's all the unfairness, all the injustice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the higher self always, or the subconscious always says, well, how does that really relate to your life?
Yeah.
How is this affecting you?
Yeah.
In reality, it doesn't really affect us. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean we have to, if you can do something, do something.
Mm-hmm.
If not, that's in the way how I look at it and stay in love and light
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise, yeah, it will
Yeah.
drive you mad.
Yeah. And I've even had the higher self say in QHHT sessions, someone asks, for something far away, how do I help? Blah, blah, blah. And the higher self even says, how does she know that's real?
I
Wow.
love that.
Yikes. So I like that, Sophie. If it's 2 inches from your nose, act.
Hmm.
If it's not, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? Right? Yeah. Yeah. Whew. Christy, what do you think? Naive or necessary?
Yeah, absolutely necessary. I asked this in a session, and my client's higher self said, holding love and light isn't ignoring the darkness, it's transforming it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
You know, we need to have compassion for the people that feel this way, but when we hold this high frequency energy, it changes us, it changes the people around us, it changes situations, and it ripples out into the world.
Hmm.
So I think when we do this, it's really courageous as light
Yeah.
workers. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always love that metaphor. I've always loved that metaphor of light and dark because the dark can't survive the light, right? The light always, I mean, turn on a lamp in a dark room, right? Where did the dark go? It didn't go anywhere. It was consumed by the light, right? The dark didn't run away. It was turned into light,
Yeah.
right? And so I love that. I mean, it's a metaphor, but it's a great metaphor. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Wow. Okay. If anybody on the live has questions too, I wanted to remind you that to just pop them into the chat feature and we'll get them there because this is a complex situation. Okay. So spreading love and light, that's necessary. So how do you do it? What does that mean? Especially in a world on fire.
I think staying positive, right? And I think it's easier for people who meditate, right? Because as you meditate, you balance yourself out, you balance out your emotions more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Just to look at life from joy rather than from a positive rather than negative. We're going back, right? Dark, light, positive, negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of creating joy around you as much as you can. And I know not everyone, some might say, well, how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because not everyone knows how to do that. It's like
Right.
we weren't also taught that, but that's a different topic.
Yeah.
um, I don't know, probably focusing on the positive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think back to what you said earlier too, Sophia, focusing on the positive in your own life,
Mhm.
right? And what's right in front of you. Yeah. Yeah. How do you do that, Christy? How do you stay in love and light in a world on fire?
You know, I think spreading love and light is it's who we really are. It's our true purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And change can happen when we embody a higher vibration. So we have to keep ourselves in a high vibration. You can't let yourself get distracted by these low frequency energies. You know, if it
Mm-hmm.
feels bad to you, it's not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the higher self always consistently says this is really important. Spreading love and light acts as a broadcast. So not everyone will receive it right away, but it will plant seeds for transformation for the future. You never know when a seed will start to grow in somebody. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know, staying in joy, staying in the positivity, realizing when you don't feel good. If you're reading something about whatever's happening and you start to feel bad, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah.
something immediately that will bring your vibration up. You know, think about gratitude. That immediately will raise your vibration.
Yeah.
You know, try to do things that bring you joy. And that's how I do it.
Very good. I mean, I think also too, step one is turn off the TV,
Absolutely.
turn off the news, just turn it off. There's an off button in case
Yeah.
you didn't know.
Yeah. I try to stay, I'll read the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel any kind of negative feeling from it, I just keep going. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even click it and read more about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people will say, "Well, that's naive. Don't you want to be informed? Don't you want to, and I'm like, if again, yeah, to your point earlier, Sophia, if is it affecting me? Is it affecting me personally? Maybe, if we have a city election here in Durango, I want to be very involved and very engaged and meeting the candidates and, going to the city council meetings and being involved, like physically present. If you're interested in politics, guys, that's where you need to
Mhm.
focus is go to your community. go to your town or your village or whatever and get involved. Absolutely. But physically present, not not on the TV, not listening to some sort of national or international blah 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 that has nothing to do with you. So turn on the TV. And then the other thing is this guy, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
block, block. My favorite feature on Facebook is block.
Yes, me too. I'll see one comment and like, okay,
Block.
block.
Absolutely.
It's
My
not worth
my
it.
my Instagram feed is I joke, I say it's rainbows and kittens, baby. That's
Yep,
all it is. It's
right.
rainbows and kittens.
And Dolores Cannon.
And
Mhm.
Dolores Cannon.
And I love you background because it's trees.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed for my clients in the higher self, a lot of the times they'd be like, go into the forest, go into the trees,
Nature.
go
Nature.
nature. That's where
Yeah.
you need to go
Mhm.
because away from all of the people, away from again all that energy, go and heal there. Like
Yeah.
just again to balance out whatever it is, anxiety. It's like some of us have. It's like in the background. It's constant
Yeah.
low pitch anxiety. It's constant, especially
Yeah.
if you live in a big city.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Here's
that's
one
why
of my
we.
theories about going into nature. I wrote about this in my first book, Finding Purpose. So think about it, because I was writing, I was this the subject I was writing on is how do you commune with a higher self? And they always say go to nature. You ask the client, and ask the higher self, how can Mary commune with you after today? Go to nature. Always, they always say that, and in meditation. But think about this: if you step outside a building and you go into a natural setting, even if it's just a little corner park with a couple of trees. If you live in a big city, everything inside a building is built to human scale, right? Chairs, doors, windows, they're all built for human size. The minute you go into nature, like everything's gigantic to human size, right? And so you like your scale gets recalibrated, right? You realize how, oh, I'm just a squishy little human on this rock, swirling around the sun, right? Um, and so I think subconsciously, all that subconscious, right? That subconsciously it kind of like rescales us down to, oh, I'm not so big. I'm not so important. That problem isn't so big. That problem isn't so important. Because look at this tree that's been here for 200 years, right? Yeah. Yeah. I like that in nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can't read the news stories for a week, great.
Yeah.
You still have nature. You still have
Yeah.
the trees and the ground and the sky and the birds. And
Yeah. Yeah.
And trees are perfect, right? You give them a hug. I feel like that's
yes,
their job. Their
Yeah.
job is to take away all of that anxiety, all of that
Hmm.
unpleasant energy, worry, and give you
Hmm.
back clean energy back.
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's instant. The minute
Yes.
you touch a tree, you feel
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
already, immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, what do you hear in QHHT sessions about how to stay in love and light? Any specific advice that you've heard lately?
Well, meditation, that was a recent one also. But
Mhm.
meditation comes constantly,
Yeah.
very much, almost every
Yeah.
single session.
Seriously, every single session. By the way, guys, every single session, the higher self says the client needs to meditate, and they usually say too every day.
Mhm.
And then I'll ask, well, so I'll ask first. I'll say, okay, well, they need to meditate. How often? Does it matter? They'll say every day, and then I'll say, well, for how long? Does it matter? And they'll say just minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'll say, okay, well, does it matter how she meditates? Like what she does while she's meditating? No, she just needs to quiet her mind. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's simple. It's not hard. It's really not hard. There's really no excuse. 10 minutes every day. Just sit and follow your breath. Boom, done. Yeah.
I think people have a lot of expectations of how it should look like.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
they have.
Because meditation can be different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have some people that when they exercise, that's a meditation, or
Mm-hmm.
when they're driving, that's a meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Listening
In my
to
garden.
binaural beats. Yeah, it different. So it doesn't have to look
Mm-hmm.
like everybody thinks it looks. But
Mm-hmm.
I asked a couple of clients in their sessions about this, and one of them said, "Return to your center before you react. The
Ooh.
stillness is where your power lives."
Yeah.
And then another one said, "Breathe, connect, and remember you're more than what is happening around you."
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, breath is another one, right?
Yeah.
Because the moment we find something, a lot of the times, or either we start breathing faster or shallower, right? It's kind
Yep.
of like being mindful and again taking those full breaths in,
Mm-hmm.
right, and noticing the body. But I think it's
Mm-hmm.
part of it is also learning to stay in love and light. You need to kind of learn the cues from your body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when is it that, what are the cues and when are you getting them, right? If you're
Right.
opening up that some let's say website, a news website, and you're already feeling cues from your body, yeah.
Mhm.
Like Christy said, listen, that means that that's not good.
Yeah.
Right, and the cues are always there.
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, guys, those things, they're making money off your eyeballs, by the way.
Mhm.
You're their product. They're using you for their advertising. So if they can get that reaction out of you that Sophia is talking about, that, ooh, I
Mhm.
gotta scroll, I gotta scroll, I gotta scroll, that benefits them, not you.
I think we really need to think about balance because, you can acknowledge what's happening in the world, but not become attached to it. Don't let
Hmm.
it trigger you.
Hmm.
Because if it's triggering you, you've got something still to work on within yourself.
Hmm.
You need to find out what is it that's making you feel triggered, and you
Hmm.
need to work on healing that part inside yourself because the
Hmm.
best place to be is detached from
Yeah.
outcomes.
Love that, Christy. Love that, Christy. I have this exercise. So I have this like advanced um program that I do with just a few clients every month, and it's called Higher Self Journey. And one of my exercises, this is for really advanced. These are people way on the spiritual path. So don't just go out and do this, folks, unless you're ready to do it. But I have them go to the Humane Society shelter and hold a dog and put it back, right? To be
Oh,
able to be in physical contact with that homeless animal, vulnerable, animal, and be able to be with it, have that deep, deep love for another creature and walk away. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see need, you can see pain, you can see suffering without needing to be attached to it. Love
And
that,
that
Christy. Yeah.
and that helps you stay in the present moment too. If you can think about how you're loving that dog at that moment
Mm-hmm.
and really fully be in that love,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're not worrying about later when you have to leave it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about the past of, oh, this dog went through so
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
right? You're able to kind of think about it this way. I love it. Separate and then wrap that being, right? And that animal with love,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that's it. Oh, that is a hard one, Holly.
That
Like
would be
that
hard.
is,
That
I
is hard.
told you it's advanced. It's for the advanced students only. All right. Christy's asked about the title of the book I just mentioned, so I'm typing it in for her. Oh, not Christy, sorry, Jen. Okay. Yeah, that's advanced. And then, so at some point in time on our spiritual journey, you have to realize we're all one. And how many people are looking at you and going, oh, her suffering. Oh, that's so, oh, poor her. Oh, poor Holly. Bless her heart. Right? I mean, we assume the other person's suffering, but are they? I mean, that we're making a judgment there.
Mhm.
And is that fair? Obviously, if someone asks for help, someone needs help, someone is obviously in dire straits, 2 inches from your nose, dive in, right? Protect the vulnerable, protect, where you can. That's being presented to you for a reason. But if it's some sort of global or some sort of situation like that, it's like, um, are they suffering? I don't know. That's a judgment on me. That's me applying my lens where it might not be applicable for me to apply it.
And also, we can't forget about karma
About
because
what? What, Christy?
about karma
Karma.
because I used to be that person that was always helping people, even if they didn't want me to help them. But then
Mhm.
Dolores said something about make sure you're not interrupting their karma.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So you really have to feel how it feels inside of you
Mhm.
before you interject yourself into
Yeah.
something like.
Yeah. Which
But
brings
also,
up the point, and that's really hard when it's family members, like someone really
Oh yeah.
close to you, which are the hardest people sometimes to also be in love and light with.
mhm.
So what do you do when the world on fire is really close to home, like inside the home kind of thing? What do you do then?
I would go back to what Christy said. If you're reacting to it a specific way, there's still a trigger. Even if it's someone far away, right? I
Mhm.
hear, what those children, right? Well, what is it that about those children? It could be again that injustice. A lot of us have that feeling of injustice,
Mhm.
right? Most likely coming from something we experienced, as children,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
we're still with that feeling. But I look at it as the universe is constantly telling us what to work on.
Mhm.
It's constantly giving us an
Mhm.
opportunity. So even if it's close to your home, right, that fire is in your home, how is it affecting you? What are the emotions and triggers that is bringing up in you?
Mhm.
Look at it as I'm like, be thankful that that person, whatever it is, right? It could be a family member yelled at you because you
Mhm.
are a Democrat or Republican, whatever it
Mhm.
is, right?
Right.
Now we
Mhm.
have that division,
Right.
right? And it could be, well, what is it bringing up in you? And be thankful for that person because universe provided that person for you to look at yourself, to look within you, right?
Yeah.
And work with yourself. And once you work it out, right? Everyone, Christy, you mentioned this already, everyone around you changes,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Because
Mhm.
you change,
Mhm.
therefore they change with you.
Mhm.
And that's how we
Yeah.
spread that love and light. And
Yeah.
I sometimes I think, imagine if every single person on earth decided at one point just love and light and increase that vibration frequency, what's going to happen?
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Christy, you mentioned you live this for real, like when the world on fire is inside your own
Mm-hmm.
house.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have?
Mm. Um, this is teaching you a lesson, what you still need to heal in yourself. It could be something from a past life that you still need to heal for
Mhm.
yourself,
Mhm.
just staying in your high vibration. I mean, back then when I went through it, I wasn't in a place that I had a high vibration. I succumbed to it.
Mhm.
But now I learned if that happens again, what to do.
Mhm.
And um, I think this is all a learning opportunity for us to stay in this high vibration. I
Mhm.
think it's really important, like I said, is gauging your emotions. If it feels bad, try to exit, try to disengage, try to be unattached
Yeah.
from
There's a difference between compassion and pity.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pity's just kind of icky. That's self-righteous. Yeah.
And I think when people are, say they're online and they're reading all of this awful news, and everybody's so quick to judge the other side.
Hmm.
If you don't agree with me, then I'm going to judge you and I'm going to try to make you feel bad and feel like you're less of a person. But, we are all one.
Hmm.
We all are from the same source.
Hmm.
would you be telling yourself the same thing that you're telling that person?
Hmm.
And it is hard to have compassion sometimes because people get so heated and they're so wrapped up in the outcome. They're so attached to the out, you know.
Hmm.
So I think just taking that step back and having that compassion is very important.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people are not on their spiritual journey as far as we are.
Yeah.
So, think about yourself when you weren't this far along,
Yeah.
and you were reacting to these things. You want somebody to have compassion on you. That.
Right. Well, and I'm sure you guys get lots of clients who are empaths
Mhm. Yes.
and lots of clients who are empaths that don't know they're empaths. They're just confused about what they're feeling because they don't understand what they're feeling or other people's feelings. And so what advice do you have for those people that like they're feeling the world on fire and they think it's theirs, but it isn't?
I try to teach them. So we kind of mentioned that. I try to teach them to, um, one, always ask, is this mine?
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling this. You ask within you, is this mine? If
Mm-hmm.
it's not mine, that I can consciously decide that I'm not going to attach myself to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's putting that wall. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start telling people you're not, it's not a trick, but go to Humane Society and do, that's going to be your, that's going to be your ultimate test. I love that.
Leave your
But
wallet at home. You don't even
yes,
have a driver's license. You can't adopt
yes,
anything.
can't adopt it. No. Right. But it's one, again, that's has been always my belief. One is realize that it's not yours.
Hmm.
Otherwise you can't.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you need to filter what you
Yeah.
take in, as far as
Yeah.
reading,
Hmm.
watching news and all that. Just be careful about what you're taking in. The same
Hmm.
way that you filter what you breathe.
Hmm.
We're here to shine, not carry everybody's pain. So
Hmm.
we really need to place boundaries
Hmm.
for ourselves. Use daily rituals like grounding. You can visualize a white light around you to shield you from other people, the world in general.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Connecting with your guides is really important, and I think meditation is really good for
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. I'll usually ask, like, so what this will usually be what happens in a QHHT session. Like the client comes in, they're feeling lots of anxiety or they're feeling lots of depression or density and they don't understand it. And so it's on their list of questions, please get rid of my anxiety or why do I have so much anxiety? So then you're in hypnosis and you're talking to the higher self and you say, well, why does Mary have so much anxiety? And then the higher self will say, well, she's picking up everyone else's anxiety for them. She's feeling their anxiety. This isn't hers. And then I'll say, well, what advice do you have for her about all of that? And then 9 times out of 10, Christy, they'll say she needs to learn to shield herself. Needs to, and so then I'll say, can you put a shield for her? Go, yeah, we could do that. I'm like, great. Let's have her feel everything she needs to feel, but she doesn't need to feel everybody else's anxiety, does she? No, we can put a shield. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we in our sessions, we put that white light, the pyramid of protection around
Hmm.
our clients from Dolores,
Hmm.
and I've had a lot of clients that use that themselves.
Yeah. 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 Do you want to hear a funny story from Dolores herself? So she used to, I was lucky enough to actually, she was still alive when I did my level 1 and level 2. So, so she told a story in class once that she used to use the pyramid of white light on her car. And they're in Arkansas, and she drove this like total rat trap car and this ancient car, and she'd drive it around Arkansas and everything was fine. She usually drove it, I'm sure, to the airport and back mostly. But then while she was gone, like she'd have her son or a daughter or nephew or niece or somebody drive it. And the minute somebody else would get in the car, like this would break and that would break. And the car would be in the shop the whole time she was gone. And then she'd come back and get in the car and just drive around with a white light, around. it. It would never break. And then she'd leave again and pong, pong, pong. So yeah,
I put that around my car every time I drive because of that
yes,
story.
that sucker works.
Yeah.
Pyramid of white light. If you don't know what it is,
Mhm.
have a QHHT session. Oh gosh. So, let's see, what do we got here? So, is it selfish or careless to stay in your love and light bubble?
Go ahead, Christy.
So I asked this in a session, and my client's higher self said, if you dim yourself out of like guilt or any other low vibrational energy,
Mhm,
the darkness wins twice.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
yeah,
Twice. Yeah.
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 And we don't want more darkness, do we?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's a form of service, I think, not selfishness to
Mhm,
spread that around. You know, everybody needs it right now.
mhm.
Everyone needs more of it. So, like I said, your energy ripples out into the collective. So,
Yeah.
not
It's
Yeah.
selfish.
also part of like self-love, I feel like,
Mhm.
right? And that's a lot of to me it feels like part of everyone's lesson who is on earth, or the majority of us at least, is to learn self-love and what it is,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's part of it, right? It's choosing to be in a vibrational energy and not have to go along with what everyone else is doing or wants you to do.
Right. Right. Wow. I really love that, Christy, that darkness wins twice. That's deep.
Yeah, it is.
They're always deep.
Gives me goosebumps. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if if you think about it, here's the other analogy too, is the lighter the light, the darker the shadows, right? And so if you have been that bright light, and then you make the choice to dim your light out of some sort of, yeah, like you said, guilt or thinking you're doing the right thing or whatever. Um, whew, yeah, man, that dark is really big now, really dark, and wins. Wow.
And the more we spread the light, the lighter it gets,
Right,
Hmm.
right?
right, right. Yeah, yeah. And it's not hurting the dark. It's the light is consuming the dark. The light is turning the dark light. Yeah. Wow. So, and the other thing I think about too, with all the darkness in the world, think about, and I know you guys have this experience with the past life part of QHHT sessions, but when you think about like human history, is this really dark? Is the world really on fire? When you think about like Attila the Hun and the hordes and the plagues and all of the destruction that has happened on Earth, or is it just that because of the news feed and the social media and everything, it's it's never been there's never been a time in human history where we've had access to all of the little pockets of darkness that are going on. And so therefore it seems big pockets. Because you think about like, let's say that you were in Germany 1500 years ago or whenever, Genghis Khan came rolling through and what was it? He killed so many people that they can measure that the carbon dioxide was reduced on the face of the earth because that's how many people, millions and millions and millions of people he killed. And so it's like, is this really the dark times or not? Right.
Well, it's the
And
dark times for us because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
actually
yeah.
consciously here now. Yeah.
But think about how many lives you've had,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Where this
Yeah.
is actually the good one.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
But do you still have a place to live? Do
Yeah.
you still have clean water? Do you still have food? You know, do
Mhm.
you have an income that you can earn? I mean,
Yeah.
are your needs met? We need to
Mhm.
put things in perspective.
Right. Right. Is Genghis Khan chopping people's heads off at the
Right,
park?
right.
No.
And bring it back to gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gratitude. And it's amazing. Like you wake up whenever you decide to do it or go to sleep, but I do it in the morning and literally a couple of minutes of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
even if you woke up and you didn't have a good night's sleep, boom,
Mm-hmm.
changes everything.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
cannot be sad or depressed when you practice gratitude.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So we've convinced ourselves we need to stay in love and light. We need to spread love and light repeatedly. Get there, stay there. So how do you stay there? How do you keep from, it's been a long day, you're fighting the traffic, kids are screaming, you're tired, your spouse has got Fox News rolling right and left, and yada yada, and um, you know, angry voices in the background on the news feed. How do you stay in love and light? It's real life, right?
Yes.
You can tune it out,
Mm-hmm.
let it not get to you,
Mm-hmm.
practice gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
um, do anything besides what is making you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick the next, what would make you feel better in that
Mm-hmm.
instant, and do it,
Yeah.
because then
Kind,
your vibration rises immediately.
kind of goes back to that self-love, self-care thing, right? Yeah.
Well,
You
taking a
need.
bath, coming
Yeah.
home, tuning it all out, going to the bathroom, taking a bath. Water is very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a dog, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get your dog,
Yeah.
get your kids, go for a walk.
Right.
Um,
Rainbows and kittens.
yes, rainbows and kittens, absolutely.
Oh, and babies laughing. I also have a whole Instagram feed of babies laughing.
Yeah, because laughter will do that, you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So find whatever makes you laugh, whatever
Yeah,
brings you joy.
yeah,
And but have a plan for it. Don't wait until you're already deep in the trenches of, oh, this doesn't feel good, because then it's harder to find what that thing
right,
is that you need to do.
right.
So
Yeah,
have a plan for that, because it will happen.
yeah, yeah. I do think it too. It's important. It's one of the reasons I love these chats. I do think it's important to find a friend that's on the same wavelength, right?
Mhm.
Not because we all have those friends where it's like, these friends where it's like you get together and it's just, this went wrong, this went wrong. That's not really, I'm not talking about that. But someone who you can go for a walk with, talk about, spirit guides and angels and all
Yeah.
kinds of cool metaphysical stuff, in a positive way. Don't you think it's important to have friends like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I will have clients who will come in, and that's one of the things they'll say, I don't have that support system,
Hmm.
right? Well, not necessarily support system, but people who, and they will say, well, you understand me. We can speak about these things. I don't have no one else who understands these
Hmm.
or understands this or speaks or
Hmm.
thinks the same way I do.
Hmm.
And we actually created a group here in Florida, and this was a while back. It still goes on. We
Hmm.
passed it on to someone else to take
Hmm.
care of it. People still get together, and we specifically did it because we couldn't really tell our clients. Be like, but we're like, well, there's a group, and now if I have a client who's like, I don't have anyone, and if they're local, I'd be like, that group meets every single. I think they do at least once a month, right?
Yeah.
And they talk about these things. So there
Hmm.
are ways to find
Hmm.
people like you
Yeah.
who have awakened, or ask for them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Ask your
Guides,
guides to bring them.
yep,
Yeah.
ask your guides,
Hmm.
ask for them, and you'll be surprised. It might be someone at a line at a grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think that because, yeah, so many clients, they'll sit down and they'll go, well, I don't know. I don't want to blow your mind. And then it's something like really ordinary in a level 3 office, right? And, like, oh, I saw aliens once. Like, okay, big deal. Um, But, I mean, because they've never told anybody else, right?
Yes,
And
yeah.
and everybody says this, and I'm like, hey, if you guys would just get together, all these people that say you can't tell anybody this, there'd be like a giant crowd of people saying the same. But everybody's all, I can't say this. And then Yeah, it's not ordinary to say it. Yeah.
I have so many people come in and they say, okay, you're going to think this is weird. And I'm like, no, I won't. Trust
Luckily,
me.
I have this painting in my office here that has it's pretty big. It's a pretty big painting, and it's actually the artist painted her QHHT session, and it's fabulous. So she has this crystalline body, and she's holding this thing in her hands, and she's standing next to this tall gray alien woman, and they're creating galaxies because that was her past life in her
Oh,
QHHT session. Her name's Meredith Rose. She goes by Blue Starseed on Instagram. So look her up. It's a beautiful painting. It's on her Instagram page. But so I have this giant painting of this giant alien in my office. So it's like, you can talk about that here.
Yeah. And what you just brought up another example for me is having the perspective about all of this. When you realize you're not just here in a human body for this finite period of time, you are a vast, enormous soul that is experiencing the whole universes and universes, over and over and over.
Yeah.
Is what you're experiencing now, seeing this on the news, really that
Yeah.
important in the
Right.
overall scheme of things?
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing on my Instagram feed is space, like telescope pictures. Like these
Yes, those are
really
awesome.
high-powered telescopes that are out
Mhm.
there in space and like they just took a picture of an asteroid up close, or the sun or whatever. Oh my God, I love those. And they just found like some sort of string of galaxies that's like 34 billion light years across of galaxies, right? And it's like, oh yeah, and we're worried about,
Yeah.
this little thing. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
ah. All right, we've got lots of comments coming in. Okay. So we have Jen says, having a way to anchor back to a higher frequency is a great way too. A simple phrase or a physical motion, like drawing a spiral over your heart. Ooh,
Oh, that,
nice. Yes, that works great for me. Great, great idea, Jim. Having some sort of like physical reminder in
mhm.
your body to go back up in vibration. Donna says, I have no friends that I could talk to about all of this. None of them believe in this. So Donna, go find them. Ask your angels to bring them to you, but be open to talking. Um, and Donna says, Jen, that's a great idea. So good. All right. Okay.
I was
So,
gonna say, sorry, I was
mhm,
gonna say to that last Donna, like you can create your own meetup group,
mhm, yeah,
right?
That's right.
And see who will show up and have, just
mm,
come together in a local coffee shop.
yeah. I mean, I live in a town of 20,000 people. It is a 4-hour drive to the nearest interstate.
Wow.
It's all ranchers and I don't know what you want to call it, retirees. And if I can be here in Durango, Colorado, doing what I'm doing and having lots of friends with lots of conversations about spirit guides and angels and past lives and aliens and whatnot. I'm sorry, but anybody can do it. I mean, unless maybe you're in like, Saudi Arabia or somewhere, I don't know. But
And that's another way that I kind of came out of my depression. My depression was always because I was lonely and I felt different
mhm,
from everybody. But
mhm,
I have the best friends that I met as clients now,
mhm. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And then you
yeah.
introduce them to each other and then you get together and it's just
Yeah,
the best.
yeah, yeah. Cool. All right. So we got more. Noah says walking meditation works well. An empty mind raises your vibration. Absolutely. Love that. Yeah. Get that stuff out of there. Very good. And Donna says walking definitely helps me too, Noah. Very good. Very good.
Mhm.
Lots of chatter going on. All right. So what else? What else? I'm looking at my notes here. Um, so how, Dolores wrote about the new earth. and 5D and whatever you want to call it, ascension, whatever, lots of names for it. But it's basically this concept that the earth herself is going through a spiritual evolution, and we just happen to be riding on her back in the middle of it. So we better do something too. Um, so what do you think that the world on fire has something to do with the new earth?
I
Is
do.
it the purge?
I do. I think it is a purge.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, this may be weird, but every time I see some kind of, volcano or earthquake or tsunami, I'm like, oh, good, it's getting closer. It
Uh-huh.
has to happen that way so that we can get to the new earth.
Yeah.
So I look at it as a positive every time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a session once, which was very one of extremely interesting ones. This person didn't have a past life. She became this Anunnaki being,
Ooh.
and he specifically said, "I created her to be an avatar.
Ooh.
She's just an
Wow,
avatar." And
cool.
yep, and her husband was created specifically for her, so they will have everything and not need anything ever. But
Mm-hmm.
what he was talking about, he was saying that he was one of the Anunnaki who created Earth. And the reason why he created her, he wanted to come in and out, and just see how Earth is doing.
Walk in, walk out. Woohoo.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And he started crying when he was talking about Earth and what's happening. He looked at it slightly differently. It is a rebirth, but he was looking at it. He's like, well, Earth is dying, but he didn't mean that the Earth is dying, right? But as it was created, right? Because we're going to the next level. Earth is kind of, changing, and so he was very I should put this. He did cry a bit
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it is something that he remembered very fondly of how they created it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are, and I'm sure he's not the only being, right? There's many beings, right, that are watching how the earth is transforming.
Yeah.
And you're right. I don't think we can stay as we are,
Mm-hmm.
not transform along with it, because I think we will just not vibrationally be a match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
And we
forcing us.
knew that. We knew that. Those of us incarnated on Gaia right now won the golden ticket. Are you kidding me? To like physically be here in this moment while this is happening? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So there's
only way to get to the new earth is to raise your vibration.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And
exciting.
there's tons of spirit guides and beings that are just like watching those of us incarnated, like, oh, this is so cool. This is so, what are they gonna do? This is so cool. So Noah asks, thoughts on an event shift ascension soon. So I just watched last night or day before yesterday, I can't remember. But I follow two people I adore on YouTube. Ann Tucker, Anne Tucker. She channels the angelic realm, and Pam Gregory. So she does astrology, and which not really a huge astrology fan, but Pam's take is really different than most astrologers. They had a conversation together, like within the last week. So go onto YouTube and search Ann Tucker and Pam Gregory. And so Anne, of course, she channels all of this like really practical, like real-time information from the angels. And, there's going to be an earthquake here and there's going to be a volcano there, like really specific stuff. Usually channelers are like really vague and lovey-dovey and, love your brother as yourself kind of thing. But the angelic realm that Anne channels is like, you know, do this now in this place. And then she partnered up with Pam, who's reading all the astrology, which is also talking about all of the, we're at the end of I'm going to get this wrong, but the Kali Yurga phase, the 21,000 years and blah, blah, blah. So she comes in with all of this knowledge. And so check out that video. It like I'm telling you, within the last few days. And so Pam says, so the angels have given all of this information about volcanoes and earthquakes. And then because of the volcanoes and earthquakes, there's going to be a lot of stuff in the air, and then there's going to be a lot of things not growing well and that kind of thing. So other effects of the face of the earth and it's literally labor pains. It's literally the birthing process for Gaia herself as she comes into the new earth. And so, is what the angels say. And so Pam has gone and done the astrology and said, okay, this date, this date, this date, or this date are the dates according to the astrology. So, really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Noah says, we are here to raise humanity's vibration. Darkness ends on this planet. Yes. The last planet in the multiverse, the awakened currently are the strongest souls and warriors. Yeah. There will still be. So Gaia's doing this. Gaia's going through this this frequency evolution for herself, spiritual evolution for herself, raising herself to a different vibration. There will still be low vibration places, just as many, okay? Because it's got a balance, right? And your soul wants to experience low vibration places, because if your soul can't experience low vibration places, how does it know what high vibration is, right? It's just not going to happen on Gaia. It's going to happen somewhere else. So this isn't about changing the entire vibrational frequency of the universe. That's not the point. It's Gaia having this moment in time. So anyway, do you guys hear that too?
And how can you grow and learn as a soul and expand if you don't experience some of that?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And this whole idea of, well, it has to be love and light in order to be good. It's like, no. Your soul wants everything, right? Your soul wants to experience everything. That's how it learns. That's how it grows. Okay. So Jen says, yes, Anne and Pam are fabulous together. I haven't seen the new one yet. It's great. It's really good, Jen. Anne's book is great too. Yeah, I took a couple of her courses too. They're amazing. I love her. Absolutely love her. Anne Tucker. Anne with an E.
Gotta write this down or remember.
Yeah, yeah. She's way cool. Way cool. All right. So we are at the end. So, Christie, if people want a session in Oklahoma, how do they get a hold of you?
So they can go to my website. It's christiesharp.com, or my Facebook page is Christie Sharp Quantum Healing.
Very good. Thank you. And Sophia, how do they get a hold of you?
I was going to say, if you're a snowbird and you're coming over to Florida, I'm just kidding. Or if you're local, my website is Sophia Livshitz, QHHT.com. I think everything is for me, even Facebook, Sophia Livshitz, QHHT.com. My email is sophia.livshitz at gmail.com.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
And just to mention, QHHT sessions are only ever done in purpose or in person and on purpose.
And over.
And I'm in Durango, Colorado, which is nowhere near Denver. It's an 8-hour drive to Denver. So don't think you're going to fly to Denver and come see me without driving. And so you got to come see us. You can go to qhhtofficial.com and search practitioners by location. And like Sophia said earlier, there's a great level 1s and level 2s out there. We were level 1s, we were level 2s. I just recommend that you ask one question of your level 1 or level 2 practitioner. One question, and the only answer is yes. And the question is, do you practice exactly as Dolores Cannon did? That's what a level 3 means. That's the only thing about a level 3 is we are certified to be practicing exactly as Dolores did. So go see a level 1 or level 2 in your community, support them. That's wonderful. And ask them that question. Do they practice exactly as Dolores did? They've been trained to do that. All right, we have just a few more comments here. Have any QHHT practitioners used the architect alongside their practice to gain deeper, different clarity from any of their sessions. I don't know what that is, Jen, the architect, but
Isn't
like I
that
just
Suzanne?
said, if Dolores didn't use the architect and we're level threes, then we don't use the architect.
I wonder if she means Suzanne Spooner had, I believe she's a level 3 practitioner, for those who don't know. She had something about an architect. I think there was a QHHT session, but she doesn't necessarily use the architect.
Yeah.
But I believe there was a QHHT session that she posted about the architect. I wonder if
All
that's
right.
what she
I
says.
don't know. I don't know. Okay, we got lots of thank yous. LaDawn says Christy is a wonderful facilitator. Yeah.
Dawn, thank you.
All right, this is great. Okay, lots of hearts and lots of love. So thank you, Christy. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank
Great
you.
conversation for this like, woo, sticky topic. So
We were all
yay.
biased. We were biased from the start.
We just hear it every day. Stay in the love and light. Stay in the love and
Yeah.
light.